Welcome to this week's edition of Dying Breeds, with me, Gervaise Sareen. Throughout the series, I'll be taking a peek into the lives of people who prefer things the way they used to be, without all this needless modernisation as the world hurtles to hell in a handcart. Do you enjoy sitting around a table family style, savouring a meal that's been cooked with love? Yes, so do I. But what if you're on the road to somewhere? Must we forsake such nourishment? Perhaps not. This week, I visited the Buttered Bollard, a motorway lay-by cafe just off the northbound carriageway of the A1 outside Doncaster. Just moving into the left-hand lane now, if only everyone else knew how to indicate. And the time on my pocket watch says 7:51 a.m. The dashboard clock seems to think otherwise, but I know which one I'd trust. And there it is, a quaint painted wooden sign letting drivers know that this is the turning for the Buttered Bollard, where I shall meet Elaine and Kevin Kimball, the owners. Oh, here's hoping there's a hearty doorstop with my name on it. Now, there's a very old tree in this lay-by, and just underneath is a static caravan, which has been lovingly converted into a fully functioning kitchen, with a seating area just in front, and a rather attractive canopy depicting the Union flag.
Kevin, why are there no beans on this slippery road surface? And since when did we start putting black pudding on the humpback bridge?
Sorry, Elaine, beans coming right up. Could we perhaps just tell them the black pudding's on the house?
Well, is it their birthday?
I don't think so.
No, then. Scrape it off carefully and pop it under the grill. It'll come in before end of service.
Elaine, I'm Gervaise Sareen from the Dying Breeds series. I see you're in the thick of the breakfast rush. I just wondered...
Just a tick, Duck. Where are you going with that, Kevin?
They asked for it taken to their car.
You know the rule, my love. They eat here, under the canopy. Sorry, you were saying?
Yes. I wondered if you could tell me a little about how you came to work here at the Buttered Bollard.
I could, but you'll have to follow me. We don't get a breather till 9:20.
Oh.
Take these, would you?
Oh.
I pretty much grew up here, Gervaise. My mother ran this enterprise single-handedly and I'd help her out in the school holidays.
Ah, is that her photograph above the cash register?
Yes.
Oh, flawless skin.
You what? Goody hell, it's the grease on frame. It builds up with you and you filter on the extractor. She looks quite broad in that one. But we're all muscle. All this running about we have to do.
Ah, and a good half of the tables are taken this morning. Is that typical?
Oh, you should have seen it in its heyday. Mother and I with plates stacked down her arms like a tailback on a bank holiday Monday. No, since the service stations sprang up left, right and centre, we've seen a decline in customers. I mean, we have our regulars. They're like family, really. And they know what it's like to get a bit of mealtime love and attention. Nothing served in plastic boxes here, thank you very much. Grab this, will you?
Oh.
And, of course, we're northbound on the Great North Road. You wouldn't want to be southbound. No trees over there and a very acrid sniff from the smelting works.
Oh.
But they're like sheep, these motorists, all flocking to the identical prefabricated service stations. Not that there's anything like the level of service compared to here. I offer 14 variations on the full English breakfast.
Oh, yes. I see the menu up on the board with different signs from the highway code depicting the different options. The uneven road.
2 fried eggs, yeah?
The falling rocks.
Yes. I thought of that one. A mound of sausages with beans cascading down.
Oh, yes, very artistic.
I've always said we should use the side wind sign for those who are wanting extra beans, you know? The one with the windsock blowing.
Table 3 looks like it needs a refill, Cherub. Thinks himself quite the stand-up comedian.
And, school patrol crossing is presumably the children's menu.
That's right. All kiddies welcome.
Oh, do you and Kevin...
No, no, bless, no. And the biggest plate we offer is the give way. Belt-busting it is, but very popular with some of the long-distance truckers.
Well, there are certainly many clean plates all round.
It's communal here, Gervaise, and you don't get that in the service stations. Everyone's sat together, but eating alone. I won't have that here. If you're eating at the Buttered Bollard, you're part of the family. Kevin, give him here. There's hardly any butter on the edge of these crusts, love. I don't remember us putting Gobi Desert on the menu. Let's not choke the customers, eh?
I'm now in the inner sanctum, so to speak, the engine room of this operation, where the meals are prepared. Kevin, it's very well laid out, given the dimensions.
Yes, it seems to work well with a plating up area here, just by the hatch.
Oh, here's one of our valued regulars. Morning, Dennis.
A very good morning to you, Elaine.
Don't mind Gervaise, he's putting us in a documentary.
Oh.
Dennis here is a chauffeur.
And a very smart one at that. Is that a Cambridge tie, Dennis?
Yes, from that area, yes.
And whom do you drive around?
You can't say. You can't say, can you?
Well,
He signed the Official Secret Act.
let's just
What
say...
I wouldn't give for a royal visit. Oh, have I given it away?
His Royal Highness the Duke of York would have blisters by now if it wasn't for me.
I say. And is Prince Andrew touring this region at the moment?
It would be indiscreet of me to go into detail, but he does take a keen interest in this area's manufacturing industries.
Usual, Dennis.
Yes, please, Elaine, although I'll have coffee rather than tea.
That's not like you.
Rather a late night, getting the Duke back to Buckingham Palace.
The palace? I thought the Duke's official residence was the Royal Lodge in Windsor Great Park.
Well, like I say, ours is not to question why.
And today you're up in Doncaster. What a schedule. No wonder you're on the old battery acid, eh?
Just one cup, mind. Otherwise the Duke doesn't like me pulling over and...
Pop yourself down, Dennis. I'll bring it over. As you can see, we're blessed with quite the clientele.
I've left Elaine and Kevin to crack on while I step outside to the seating area where another of the regulars has given me his card. Seef Oustwizen.
It's pronounced Seef Oosthuizen.
Zeef, craven apologies. My knowledge of Dutch extends only to a few words about tulip nurseries. What was it? Tulpen...
I speak Afrikaans.
Right, and I believe you're no stranger to the Buttered Bollard, Zeef.
Oh, no, it's my sanctuary from work.
And where do you work?
At the local hospital. I'm a cardiology surgeon specialising in heart transplants. And before you say it, I'm a very safe pair of hands. Yeah.
What a distinguished vocation. But surely there's a surgeon's canteen in the hospital.
Oh, yes, yes. But look, you've got to understand, at work, people's lives depend on me. It's very intense. So it's crucial that I jump into Lexus, head down the A1...
The Great North Road!
...for 10 minutes, and then I decompress away from the operating theatre, and I transplant myself here. Huh? Put it this way, when I've got a knife in my hand here, it doesn't matter if I sneeze and send a sausage flying. I can relax here. I'm amongst family.
Indeed, with Elaine's mother very much watching over us from above the cash till.
Oh, yeah. I took that photo of daughter. It was her 70th birthday, and I just bought a very nice Nikon.
Really? But no photographs of Elaine's father that I can see.
No. From what I've picked up over the years, he did run the cafe with daughter, but there was a regular customer called Brenda. She was a mobile hairdresser, drove a Singer Vogue.
Oh, lovely vehicle. Also called a Hillman Super Minx, I believe.
Don't let Elaine hear you, mate. Brenda certainly turned out to be quite the minx. Now, Elaine's father was taking Brenda's usual order over to her car, but the next thing they knew, he gets in, they speed off, and he was never seen again.
How terrible. Leaving behind his wife and daughter. What a scoundrel.
Utter bloody rogue! So there's no takeaway service now. Everybody has to sit here, under the canopy, which I like, yeah. It's cosy, you know.
So sorry to interrupt, but mind if I join you, Seef?
Yeah, if you like, Dennis. Go on, sit your arse down, mate. So, who have you been thriving today, then? Lord Lucan? Ha! Oh, Lord Lucan.
Not quite, no. But I did want to ask you about a little medical hiccup I've been having.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Well, how can I put this? When I'm on a train, the vibrations of the train.
It's coming up for 9 o'clock here on Radio Golden, playing all the best hits of yesteryear. And here's one.
The morning rush seems to have died down, so I've joined Elaine's husband here in the kitchen. I believe, Kevin, that at one time you were usually to be found on the other side of that serving hatch, tucking into Elaine's hearty fare.
Oh, aye. Well, I was always into cutlery. But I'm selling it, not washing it up.
You were a cutlery salesman, is that right?
Up and down the A1, the Great North Road, like a yo-yo. Mainly selling to the factories with large canteens. You know, I'd come and get my lunch here from Elaine and Dora, her mum. And Elaine would give me free refills when her mum wasn't looking, so I knew. I knew.
And was it a long courtship?
Patience is a virtue. I knew that pot would boil eventually, and we were wed, coming up for 5 years this St Andrew's Day.
So you gave up your job to come and work here with Elaine?
No, there was a steady decline in manufacturing around here, so I was laid off. And Elaine took me on.
Indeed, although some might say it was the other way round.
I couldn't possibly comment.
So, from a life on the road to a life by the road. I really get the sense, here by the A1, of people rushing from A to B, forever on the move, like worker bees. Do you think the lack of takeaway service here at the Buttered Bollard has perhaps contributed to the slowdown in business? I mean, people these days just don't seem to want to stop and savour the moment.
I'm sure you're right. But then again, what we offer here is the personal touch. And I'm not sure that the motorway bees realise that you do need to stop for a moment if you want a taste of honey. It's sad, but they need to work that out for themselves. And our regulars, on the other hand, have definitely found their hive.
And their queen bee. Elaine certainly rules with an iron fist.
Aye, she's not a natural delegator, that's for sure. And I'm not much use with the bread buttering or lifting the baskets from the deep fat fryer.
Yes, for the benefit of our listeners, would you mind describing your hands?
Well, the fancy name for it is Dupuytren's contracture. But it just means that these fingers are permanently bent over.
Yes, I believe our Latin master at school had the same thing. Would surgery be an option? Oh, perhaps Seef
He said not to bother. The recovery can be very painful, and half the time the problem comes back, so...
You've learnt to live with it,
Well, we all have our crosses to bear. I mean, look at Dennis over there. I mean, people have their reasons for why they choose to come here, and if he's happy donning the suit and tie every day, well, who am I to let his tyres down? But don't tell Elaine. She thinks we're practically by royal appointment.
Don't tell Elaine what?
That you deserve a break.
I know I do. Oh, and why are we out of crab sticks, Mr. McLeave, the stock take to me? Do I have to do everything?
Oh, but I thought I'd...
Well, you know what thought did? Followed a muck cart and thought it were a wedding. I don't know.
She's quite the force of nature, isn't she?
She has a big heart. For all her bluff and bluster, you have to understand that losing a parent takes its toll. And the road to recovery is not well signposted.
A rare moment of respite for you, Elaine.
Well, there's no other way round it. It's just me and Kevin now. And what with Kevin's hands, poor love. Sorry, what was the question?
Well, I was going to say that we're only at 9:30, and it feels like a full day's work already.
Well, yes. Mother and I would religiously take a break around now. A cup of tea and a slice of toast. Breaking bread, she'd call it.
You must miss her terribly.
It comes and goes. I mean, I can be getting myself set for lunch service and then I start having daft thoughts.
Daft thoughts?
Well, like, what if I forget her voice? But then in my head I'll hear, catch up once filling, exactly as she sounded. And sure enough, I'll find the refillable squeezy tomatoes almost empty.
Yes, I see. You don't see those at the service stations, with their plastic cutlery and disposable foil sachets. Now that is daft.
Oh, it's all disposable. That's how they feel about their customers. Easy come, easy go. Grab a coffee, get in your car and just drive off. That's no way to treat family.
Well, I, for one, would snub the welcome break for this more welcome haven in the woods.
Thank you, Duck. I could tell you were like us as soon as I saw you. It were the fedora, I think. You don't see many of those around these days.
Oh, Elaine, gold star for that. Most people assume it's a trilby, but of course they're quite different once you've lifted the lid, or the brim, I should say. But enough about me. I wondered how you see the future of the buttered bollard.
Oh, I was so busy helping to run this place, the biological clock had ticked on by the time I opened my eyes and saw Kevin. But we're happy. And we're still going. Oh yes, despite the competition, we're still here. Just as Mother would want it. We won't close. We can't. What would a... Oh. Hay fever. You get it too. No. Keep your pocket square. I've got my own, thanks. Right. Break's over. There's lunch to be getting on with. Shepherd's pie's the special. Mother's secret ingredient. Real shepherd, she used to joke.
It's coming up for midday, and what strikes me about... Oh, now then, what a giant! Oh, a real titan of the road is heading this way. This is the first articulated lorry I've seen pulling up here today, and the driver certainly should be commended for his very skillful parking. Good chap! Nicely done!
Who are you calling chap? Who are you, anyway? No one told me it was fancy dress.
I'm awfully sorry. I just assumed it was a gentleman driver.
Making an ass out of you and me.
Yes, indeed. Gervaise Sareen, how do you do?
Sammy-Jo, but they call me Sam. All right, Kev.
Welcome back, Sam. How was Rotterdam?
Very fruitful, my friend. Very fruitful. Let's just say the sails of this windmill have been for a spin.
And will you be having your usual strong filter coffee with evaporated milk chaser, Sammy-Jo?
Yeah. No, put the brakes on that, Elaine. I'll have a Lucasade. Got a kickbox later. I'll need my strength. What's the mic for, Gerald?
Gervaise.
We're being documented for the radio.
Nice one.
I'm loath to assume again, but you must travel long distances with your job?
UK to Europe and back twice a week. Keeps me out of trouble. But it's lonely, Gervaise. Sitting in that cab all day. Not the nights, mind. I'm something of a flame to the moths, but still, no. Coming here, if I'm going to eat, I want to eat with people. Not surrounded by them, all looking at their phones in some breeze block service station mirror image of the last one I stopped at. Do you get me?
Oh, indeed. It's becoming a common feeling amongst the regulars here. But the competition from those outlets is still fierce, and this documentary serves in part to find out whether motorway lay-by cafes like this are likely to be around in 10, 15 years' time.
Well, I, for one, hope they are. Driving long distance is like a game of Monopoly, except I don't get to drive past the posh houses. Waterworks and the prison, more like. So places like the Bollard are a treat for me, a pick-me-up. What were those pink cards? Oh, community chest. Do you get me?
Oh, I do, Sammy-Jo. I always liked to be the dog. Nice, solid metal pieces to move around the board. I dare say that's changed now, too. Plastic, probably. Which piece did you like to be?
Racing car. Even as a kid, I wanted to put my foot down.
Might I say, what beautiful nails you have. How do you keep them so...
What the hell?
Oh, Elaine, what happened?
I think I've sprained it.
Oh, you will insist on lifting that heavy gas canister on your own.
Well, it needed changing, Kevin. And we can't have you doing it, not after last time.
Let's not rake over all...
Left the hose loose, didn't he? Whole place were gassed out. Customers couldn't switch on their ignitions. Although them baking trays do come in handy if you need to waft.
Hi there. Could we have 2 sharp bends and a mug of Ovaltine when you're ready?
Right you are. Oh, this is no good. I can't do the lunch rush one-handed.
Excuse me, we're in a bit of a rush. Are you open or not?
Listen up, you two. Kevin, you're in charge.
What? He can't do it. He's never run a service on his own before.
Sit down, Elaine. Gervaise, grab her a bag of peas from the freezer here. Elaine, Kevin's got this. Ain't you, Kevin?
I don't know.
We have a reputation for reliability. 365 days a year we're here for our hungry motorists. You can't put this in your programme, Gervaise. It's an embarrassment.
Step up to the hot plate, Kevin. You can and you will do this. I'll take the orders out. You cook the food. You know exactly what you're doing. You can do this in your sleep.
Oh, well, right you are then. OK, 2 sharp bends. Where are those lamb chops?
Yes, indeed, we are open. What would you like?
If you can do it quickly, we'll have a shepherd's pie.
Yes, of course.
Well, this is a turn-up for the books. As customers stream into the canopied seating area, Sammy-Jo is hurtling between the serving hatch and the tables, carrying, at times, 6 mugs in each fist. Let's hope those glorious nails remain untarnished. And Kevin, too, looks determined to reach the finish line. With one hand, he slips on an oven mitt, flings the stove door open, heaves an industrial-sized Pyrex dish of shepherd's pie onto a trivet in the shape of a Mercedes-Benz badge. With the other beladled hand, 4 hearty portions of today's special make it intact onto the pre-warmed plates. No polystyrene in sight, I hasten to add, without so much as a gravy dribble. Kevin's now performing a tricky pivot manoeuvre to reach into the chest freezer for those 3 waffles, but spots some poached eggs boiling over. Will there be an eruption of albumin onto the hot plate? No, there won't! Oh, this man is ruling the past like a benevolent dictator of a former British colony. Well done, him!
Roundabouts.
Service, please, Sammy-Jo.
Nice one, Cocker. Poached to perfection. Here you go, my lovely.
Look at the colour of those waffles. Kevin, have you done that with this grill?
I did them in the toaster.
You never.
I did.
Now, hello, miss. How can I be of service?
Well, I was only after a bag of crisps, but I think I'll stay for a sandwich. What baps have you got?
Step this way, and I will show you. A bit closer, because you don't want to miss them.
A pleasure to have met you, Sammy-Jo, and bon voyage.
And you, mate. Keep that bag of peas on your wrist, Elaine. Should settle down in a day or 2. Did you see how many covers we did, Kevin?
I couldn't even keep count.
Well, I think we can all agree that the South African isn't the only safe pair of hands around here.
You're a winner, Kevin. Right, so I'm off to Aberdeen. Should make it up there before dark with a good wind.
Well, thanks again, Sam. I couldn't have done it without you.
Rubbish. You've got Elaine by your side. You don't need me.
Well, thank you, Sammy-Jo. And here, another Lucasade for you. For the road this time.
To take away?
Yes. To take away.
You must be very proud of your husband, Elaine.
Listen, Mother always said, be proud of what you do, but don't be so proud that you can't admit to making a mistake. Watching today's lunch service, I'd never just sat by and watched before. I'm sorry, Kevin.
Oh, there's no need.
There is. I've not let you spread your wings.
Don't you worry, darling. I'm not going anywhere.
And I've never seen waffles that colour. Like gold ingots they were. Happen you could give me a few more tips in the kitchen.
What deep-fried Mars bars that is, then?
Don't push it.
I must hit the road too, so thank you both for allowing me to taste a slice of life at the buttered Bollard.
Anytime.
You're welcome, love.
Rest assured, I won't be stopping at any service stations on the way home.
Perish the thought. Ta-ra now.
Goodbye. I was expecting to talk about food during my visit to the Buttered Bollard, but what I actually discovered there was family. The family you choose rather than the family you're given. In these strained times of ours, we've been led to a crossroads of homogenization and anonymity. So thank goodness for Kevin and Elaine, who are able to flag us down and provide a much-needed pit stop. A place of humanity where those who choose not to follow the herd are shepherded towards a table of nourishment, where there's always a place set for those who choose to indicate left and take shelter in the woods. Do join me next time when I'll meet more people living past lives in present times.
The Buttered Bollard was written by Nigel Pilkington, based on an idea by Nigel Pilkington and Peter Cragg. Elaine was played by Clare Wille, Kevin by Gordon Peaston, Dennis by Wayne Forrester. Seef was Milo Twomey, Sammy-Jo was Gina Murray, and the presenter was played by Nigel Pilkington. Original music was by Michael Bennett, and audio engineering and post-production by Holly Parris. The Buttered Bollard was recorded at ID Audio in London, and the Dying Breed series is copyright Nigel Pilkington and Peter Cragg 2020.